Hey guys, I'm AJ and it's Kendall here, and today we're going to be talking about the top NBA draft steals for the upcoming 2018 draft. Now, of course, me and Kendall love talking about the NBA draft. We've done plenty of draft videos already. And instead of focusing on the top guys, today, Kendall, we want to talk about some of the guys a little bit lower in the draft that we think could end up being really good players in the NBA level.
Yeah, I mean, what sparked this video, EJ, was seeing the success of Donovan Mitchell out at Utah, who
Donovan, Utah Jazz.
who's been spectacular, obviously, his rookie year, but was not a guy projected in the top 10 and did not go in the top 10 in the last year's draft. Also, Kyle Kuzma in Los Angeles, who got drafted at 27, and some people feel actually better than his running mate Lonzo Ball. So last year's draft, we saw plenty of guys who outperformed their draft status, and we want to see if we can now use what we saw last year to project who those guys could be this year.
Yeah, Kuzma is one of those guys that I definitely also had an eye on. So yeah, let's talk about some of these guys. And we're basically gonna give you three players, each of us, that we think can be steals in this upcoming draft. So I'll start with you, Kendall. Who do you think can be steals in this upcoming 2018 NBA draft?
For me, again, we're looking at guys outside the top 10. I'm gonna start with Robert Williams, big man out of Texas A&M. When I look at Robert Williams, he's an interesting case because he could have came out last year, decided to come back for a second year at A&M, and did not play much better. Almost, you can argue, I would say he was worse, but he did not help his case really at all in his sophomore season at A&M. But when I look at Robert Williams' fit in the NBA, you're talking about an elite athlete at around 6'9". He's extremely quick, can protect the rim, he can be a plus rebounder, and again, he's an excellent athlete. I see the fit. I think he's a better fit for the NBA than he is college because nowadays we've simplified and dumbed down the big man position.
Right.
While you want guys that can spread the floor, and Robert Williams doesn't do that for you at this stage of his career, his athleticism suggests that he could do what Clint Capella is doing. He could do what Tristan Thompson has done in the past. The key is he's got to play in the right system with a good point guard and a good coach. But I think Robert Williams has a chance to be one of the better players coming out of this draft. But second, I have Anthony Simons, who's an interesting name because Anthony Simons obviously did not play a lick of college basketball this year. He's coming straight out of high school. He went to IMG Academy, did a post-grad year after he graduated. But he's an extremely fascinating prospect because he's ranked 9th in the ESPN 100 for his class of 2017, or it's 2018 rather. And Simons is a player that he's extremely talented because he's such a good shooter, such a good scorer, and he's a player that can score on all three levels of the floor. He's athletic, can finish at the rim, he can play in the mid-range. The question with Simons is, can he play the point guard position? Because he's only at around 6'3", 6'4", and he's not really a pure point guard. But he sort of reminds me of Markelle Fultz coming out of high school. And Fultz was another guy, came out, I believe he was number 7 in the ESPN 100 in his class of 2017, outplayed that ranking. Had Simons played in college, would he have been able to outplay that ranking as well? So he's a guy that, depending on how workouts go, I think could vault into the lottery if he plays well. But last, I have Bates-Diop, a forward out of Ohio State, who I think fits this NBA perfectly. Might go late first round, might go second round, but sort of reminds me of Kyle Kuzma coming out. He's 22 years old. He's a veteran. He's a grizzled veteran. If he goes to the right team, I can envision him playing in the playoffs immediately. Fits the 3-and-D model. And when you look at all the advanced statistics, Bates-Diop checks out better than anyone in this draft. The only guy in his ballpark is Mikal Bridges. When you look at real plus minus and you look at defensive impact, offensive impact, he's a major plus on both ends of the floor. And Mikal Bridges from Villanova is the only other guy in his ballpark. So I think Bates-Diop is a guy that might get drafted in the second round, but might end up being one of the 10, 15 best players in this draft.
Bates-Diop is someone I thought about a lot. I agree. I think that when you look at his possible stretch 4 ability, because even though he's only 6'7", he has very long arms. He can shoot the ball. He can defend at a very high level. I agree with him. Simons, a little unsure about, only because I just don't know. Got high school to the NBA. We haven't seen that. We may be seeing it a lot more in a couple of years, but we haven't seen that in a long time. So him I'm not quite sure about him. Williams, I was a little disappointed in how he played in this year. Last year I thought as a freshman he was great, and this sophomore year he a little disappointed me. So I'm a little unsure about him. With my three guys, I'll start with my first guy. I'm gonna go with Troy Brown from Oregon. I think that Troy Brown is a really talented player. I like guys with high skill level. When I'm looking at any player I'm trying to evaluate, my thing is, okay, can this guy do a lot of different things on the floor? Because in the NBA, you can't just do one thing good. You got to do multiple things very good. And I think Brown does that. He's an excellent ball handler, excellent passer for a guy who's 6'7", can play point forward for you. He's shown he can hit the jump shot every now and then. He's a great athlete. I think the production wasn't always there. I think there was a lot of inconsistency. I don't know why that was, but I'm chalking that up a little bit to being a freshman. He's trying to carry a team that wasn't that great, and a lot was on him, and he didn't always deliver. But I think that when you look at his skill level, again, a guy with, I think, legit, I don't want to say he's a point guard, but he has a point forward type ability.
I mean, coming out of high school, Troy Brown was a point guard.
Yeah.
He kind of grew out of the position because he's like 6'7".
He's 6'7" now. But, I mean, he has real point guard type ability, point guard talent. So, I think he's a very, very interesting prospect. My second guy is actually going to be the big man out of Michigan, Mo Wagner, who I think you're looking at probably a late first-round pick, maybe even second round, though I think it'll probably be more late first round. I like Wagner because we look at the centers that are playing in this NBA. He seems to fit the mold right now. A guy who can stretch the floor, a guy who, even though he may not look the part, I think he actually moves his feet pretty well defensively, so I don't think he'll get killed on switches. And I like, even though he looks like a player who plays a little finesse, I like that he's got a rugged nature about him. He's not afraid to muscle around the basket. He's not afraid to throw some bows and mix it up in there. I think you need that guys with that kind of physicality. So you match the offensive finesse with the bulldozer type of feel that you get from Mo Wagner every now and then. I think that he's a good fit in the NBA. So again, another guy, high skill level, good hands, good feet, excellent shooter. I think will be a guy you look at in this NBA draft. And the last guy I'm gonna talk about is gonna be a Dookie. But it's not the Dookie everyone's been mentioning when you talk about Bagley. He's actually going to be not
Grayson Allen?
Not even Grayson Allen, not even Wendell Carter. They have 5 guys in the draft this year, and I'm going with the guy that I think maybe getting talked about
Trayvon
the least.
Duval.
No, it's not Trayvon Duval. It's actually Gary Trent Jr. First of all, I like the pedigree. His father played in the NBA. He knows how to prepare. He knows what it takes. Number 2, I will take guys who do one thing excellently, and he's knockdown shooter. I feel like he's the kind of player that I would be surprised that he could stay in the league for a long time based on the fact that he could shoot the ball. I know he's a little streaky. And you look at his three-point numbers, maybe you say, okay, maybe it could have been a little higher, but he took a lot of threes. And it was because that's the best part of his game. But he has more to his game than even just three-point shooting. He's got a little ISO game. He's got a pull-up mid-range game. He's a very talented offensive player. I think if Gary Trent played on a different team, he would be a top 15 pick. I think the fact that he played for Duke actually hurt him because he ended up being the 3rd or 4th option on a team that, while I like Duval, didn't get the most steady point guard play. So I think he kind of got lost in the shuffle. So I think someone like Gary Trent could be a very, very dangerous player and a very under-the-radar type guy to pick in the late first round, mid-first round.
Gary Trent would have been on my list, but I was privy to the fact that you were going to have him on your list, so I decided to leave him off, get another guy on there. But with Gary Trent, the one name I throw out with him and that parallels his situation almost identically is, I think, Devin Booker.
Right.
Devin Booker at Kentucky, similar body type, similar role. Booker's team was deeper than Trent's team, but Trent had to play a similar role that Devin Booker played, and you wonder if his game, and coming out of high school, similar stature, similar pedigree coming out of high school. So you worry if, similar to Booker having not showed everything that he had in his repertoire at Kentucky, did Trent not show everything that he has in his repertoire at Duke? And does he have more to his offensive game than maybe we know? Because coming out of high school, the guy was the best scorer in high school basketball. Led Nike's AAU circuit in scoring. So Trent is obviously a big-time scorer. And when he gets to the NBA level, will he show that similar to how Devin Booker did?
And the last thing I like about Trent, big shot maker. I don't know how many times Duke found themselves in a situation where they were down or they were trying to make a big comeback or they needed to put a team away, and it seemed like he was Johnny on the spot hitting a big three somewhere. So I like the clutch ability as well. I think he's a player to look at in this draft. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what guys you think should be sleepers in this upcoming draft. Let us know if maybe you don't think that any of these guys we mentioned should be steals. But nonetheless, thank you guys for watching. For Kendall, I'm EJ. Peace.